can't see how any kind of moral superiority can be judged for the two examples that you've given. Both acts are just wrong. It's like asking whether robbing somebody and killing them for the $5 in their pocket is a worse crime than robbing them and killing them for the $20,000 watch on their wrist. In my view, if you can judge one of these crimes as being worse than the other, then you're missing the point. Neither motive, the cash nor the watch, justifies the killing of another human being, so both are equally wrong. As you say, both are just douchebags. When it comes to atheist versus religious morality, though, I think it's important to bear in mind that the atheist claim for moral superiority, at least speaking for myself, is founded in empathy for fellow human beings. I can justify my morality in terms of how my actions affect my fellow human beings, and a key part of my morality is to question whether what I'm doing is right or wrong in terms of whether or not it harms other people, and to keep questioning that. Religious morality, on the other hand, is based on authority. Any act based on religious morality, no matter how insane or evil, is always completely justified in the eyes of the perpetrator. And furthermore, it must not be questioned because it's a direct instruction from God. To illustrate this, let's take another example. Let's take 3 houses in a street in a row. And in the leftmost house lives Frank, an atheist who is a theoretical physicist. And one night, Frank has an incredibly vivid dream in which he wakes up to find a ghostly figure of an old man standing at the foot of his bed. And this figure tells Frank that it's his future self, from 40 years in the future, and that Frank's work in theoretical physics has enabled him to devise a way of sending a message back to the past. And the message is this, that the little 3-year-old boy who lives next door is going to grow up to be the mid-21st century's equivalent of Hitler, and that Frank must kill the little boy the very next day. Frank wakes up from this horrific dream, covered in sweat, but the dream was so vivid that he can still see the shape dissolving away at the base of his bed, and he can still almost smell the ozone from the time portal. 2 houses along lives Pete. Pete is a devout member of an extreme fundamentalist evangelical church. He goes to church every day and he prays to his God whenever he has a spare moment. He prays with all of his heart for the rapture to come so that he can be taken into heaven. And that night Pete also has a dream. He wakes up to find the ghostly shape of a man at the bottom of his bed, and the shape tells Pete that it's the angel of the Lord come to give him a message. And the message is this, that the little 3-year-old boy who lives in the house between Pete and Frank is the Antichrist, and that if Pete kills the little boy tomorrow, it will bring about the rapture and the saved will go to heaven. This dream is so vivid that when Pete wakes up, he can still see the shape of the angel dissolving away at the foot of his bed, and he can still hear the faint singing of the heavenly choir fading away. So here we have 2 men who've had very similar dreams in which they're instructed to murder the little child who lives next door. Of the 2, which do you think is more likely to act on that dream?